right, let's go ahead and start with the start page. It is very simple to understand, and it's very nicely set up, especially for people that are just getting started with Studio One. So you've got three main sections. You have the recent files and file selection section. You have the center section, which has a photo that you want to actually show people. And this becomes the default photo and information if you mix down a song or an MP3 and don't put anything into the artist details. And I'll show you that in another video. And then on this side, you've got a nice little news feed and demos and tutorials. And I'm going to show you that in a second. Okay, so let's start here. This is recent files. The thing to remember about the recent files section is that this is a customizable area. You can change the order, but it does put the songs in order when the last time you open them. So you can see I've got a song here that I haven't opened for 2 months, and then you've got one here that I just opened yesterday. So the thing to remember is that if you right click and you choose one of these options, you've got no versions found, and that I'll explain later. And then you have show in Explorer, and then you have remove from recent files list. It's important to remember that if you do remove a song from this list, it does not delete the song. It only removes it from this list. Right-clicking on any song and choosing show in Explorer does exactly that. It opens a Windows Explorer window right here that you will actually be able to see all of the folders that exist in that song plus the song file. If you do a lot of save as versions, you'll actually see a whole list of different save as versions here. So this is really good. If you got a song that actually crashes on you and you can't open it, you will have other save as versions that you can actually open at any time. So let's close that. So let's do the right click again. And if I go ahead and I remove this from the list, let me actually find something that I can remove. There we go, the subscribe video. I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to say remove from recent files list, and you can see it updates the list. You also have the ability to use little push pin markers so that you can keep track of important or current projects right here in this list. Okay, so let's see. So the first tab is recent files. Second tab is songs. Now this list is the real list. This is every song that you've created since you've installed Studio One or since you've actually changed the location of where all of the songs go by default. So if you have an external hard drive and you've moved all your songs to the external, they will be listed here as well once you tell Studio One to look for them there. So if you delete a song from here, then you are actually going to be in a lot of trouble because the song will be gone. But the good news is if you right click on any one of these from the song tab, you have to show in Explorer first before you can start deleting. So it's kind of like a little safety there. So you can't accidentally delete something from here without deliberately going to the song folder. Projects work the same. This is for projects that you would use if you're doing mastering multiple songs or doing some heavy mastering on one song in particular, and you want all of the features of the project page, and that's something we'll get into later also. And then of course a lot of people love this new feature, and it is the show page. I can't wait to do the videos on this. It is really great for doing live performances and like setting up a party and things like that, setting up a mix, setting up a song with backup vocals that you can edit on the fly and add and remove and set up show progressions and a lot of stuff. It is a great feature in Studio One, and that takes care of the first section here. Second section here is the picture area. If I click on this, you can get a nice big version of whatever picture you decide to load. You also have the ability to customize it with your name, the kind of music that you're doing, and your website if you wish to do that. The thing to remember is that this section of the start page ends up being the default information that is put into, like, say, an MP3 that everybody will see if you don't update the artist profile for that song, and we'll get into that later. Right here is where you can actually choose your interface. Click on that once, and you can go ahead. It'll open up the audio devices area, and you can choose any interface that you have hooked up to your computer and use it in Studio One. We're going to go through the settings here in another video. So we're going to click cancel there, and let's see. So you got the name of the interface you're using, and you have the current settings, and of course that can change if you open up a song with different settings. Again, something we'll go through shortly. So now you have the ability to configure the audio device, and strangely enough, if you click on this, it opens up the same page. So I will get to that too soon. Now, configure external devices is for your keyboards, your MIDI keyboards, your controllers, things like the fader port and the Atom, and so on and so forth. Maybe you have an M-Audio keyboard that you're using to trigger all of your VST instruments and things like that. That is all set up here, and again, will be in a future video. So let's see, what else do we got here? You can check for updates here, and you can learn a little bit about Studio One by clicking that and just kind of go through, see all of the people that are responsible for this wonderful piece of software, and you can see some license information here and everything like that. So you can't use my license number, so I'm not worried about it. And you can actually go to the Studio One website if you click on that as well. Okay, so the last section here, we're going to go through this up on top here in a second. But the last section here is the news feed. Anything new coming out from Personas, a video, a new version like you see here. And you've got some stuff by Craig Anderton that actually he releases different ways of doing things in Studio One, and some pretty cool features that we might be missing in Studio One. You can find all of that here in a list. Here's some great videos for the Sphere folks. And then, of course, other stuff that is available to everybody. And there are even some videos. You can see Joe Gilder here did a video on red light distortion. So very good. So now the second tab in this area is for your demos and tutorials. This is nice. And of course, once you actually load up all of the sound sets that are available for your version of Studio One, all of your available options, once you load it, this will actually preload. You will actually have a bunch of demo songs that you can open and start to play with and really understand Studio One, as well as a bunch of killer tutorials for Studio One in how to use it, especially some of the great features like the note editing and the chord track. So there's a lot of great information here. Okay, so last but not least, if you look across the top, we have these buttons that are available for different things. I can create a new song. This will give me the ability to choose an existing template or to choose one of my templates. So if you click on interfaces, you will see that there are custom templates that will set up your inputs and outputs based on the interface you have hooked up to Studio One. So if you have a Quantum 2, you'll click on Quantum 2, and it's going to set it up with its defaults, but it will also set up the inputs and outputs. And the video coming up next will actually show you how to do that manually. And then you have some awesome templates that are actually set up by Personas. These are different styles. So for instance, if I open up, let's see, where's Rock Band? If I open up Rock Band here, it is going to set up tracks already for me here, and it's going to set up plugins, some just basic plugins, so that you can literally plug in microphones, drum mics, and guitars and just have something to start with. It is extremely nice to be able to do this. I'm going to go ahead and close this. So for those of you that are getting ready to use Studio One, but maybe not, you haven't gotten through all of these videos here for beginners, you do have some templates that you can start with right away. You've even got one here. Let me see if I can find it here. I thought it was for acoustic. Okay, vocal recording. This is a good one too. It's just going to set you up with the tracks that you need to do either a cappella stuff, maybe you're doing some radio stuff, things like that, or you're doing a book read or a voiceover, something like that. This would be a really good template to start with something like that. Let me go ahead and close this, and I don't want to save it. This is for new projects, and this is basically the same here as far as being able to choose the title for your project, and you can actually go ahead and choose different sample rates so that you can make your project exactly the way you need it. If you're doing a general CD project and you're going to burn a CD, which is an option in the project page, you can just choose 44.1. If you're going to import something from an already created DDP image, that would be like for duplication, you can even open that here into the project and see all the songs displayed at the bottom. Okay, and this one is obviously for the new show. This is something that is great for people that are doing live performances and parties and things like that. It is awesome to be able to go through. You do have a couple of templates. They are really nice and offer a lot of detail that help you with setup so that you don't have to go through it. We'll be going through that soon. And you also have and can create your own user templates. Very, very cool. And let's see, last but not least, the open category. This is really important because if you have a song that somebody sends you and you actually want to open it in Studio One and see it exactly the way that they did, you can click on open and then go to your downloads folder. You see my downloads folder, and you can see any songs, any Studio One songs. You see these are .song files. If I open these up, I can actually see let me see if I can get this thing to work. There we go. We're going to do that one. And if I click on open, it actually opens up the song itself. So this is a great way to add stuff to your to the start page. Sorry about that. This is a great way to add things to your recent files list in the start page and be able to open them up from their locations, which aren't in the song folders. This is really flexible. That pretty much takes care of the start page. Lots of things that you can do from here. I think it's organized well with recent songs, your entire song list, your entire projects list, all of your shows, your photo with your information, like I said, which is the default if you create MP3s or WAV files, and then the learning section, which has demo songs for you to practice with, and of course, learning videos for you to follow along, just like this series here. And I hope you guys found this helpful, and these will be my last few words. I'll see you in the next video.